weekend 2 of social distancing. And I have a day job. I'm a key worker, so I'm at work every day, so I mean, like a quarter of you just went, "Oh, you poor bastard," and 3/4 of you went, "You lucky bastard, you're not here trapped inside like we are." Anyway, where are we with the project? I've been doing a little bit of work every day, and parts of this guy are in the paint booth. They're now a wonderful bright yellow. Next step is to prime these bits, or most of these bits. I had a go at fudging together some antlers, or whatever the actual technical term for them is, and I made a hash of it. This is not how you use green stuff. So this is probably going. Now that's the little bit that goes on the front of the helmet. And I have a plan now. I'm thinking funky crest. This is an earring blank. It actually goes most of the way around, but I've clipped it off and trimmed it a bit and put a point in it, and I might chrome it and maybe then slap some gold over the top of it as well. So that might be what he gets instead of the mess that I've made of this. So this lot gets primed tomorrow or later today, but for now, to one side. There we go, clean the desk a bit. So next up is another quick plug for the sponsors of this video, me, on spinnyworld.com, and just in this week are this, which is a table, which I'm going to laser cut out of plastic of some form, and this goes into the project to build an office. There we go. So there is a simple desktop and rather funky legs, so that's going to take a little bit of truing when I glue it all together, which I shall do later. For the time being, it goes in here with all the other bits from the office, to be joined by an office chair, which is much simpler to put together. It goes together like that even. One office chair and another office chair, which is a bit fancier. So now then, which way does it go? Let's see. There we go, that goes on there like that, and it goes on there like that. So most of the spinning world bits for the office are in place. I should start work on it, and then probably think of other things to put in there as well. So that goes in there, and I shall start work on the office later. And now, I actually have a bunch of other projects going on to fill in the gaps when I'm not building mini Gundam. I've actually got some full-size Gundam to build, and it's time to build a diorama to put them on. This I've been adding to for years. Well, maybe not years, but I've been adding bits to it, turn it into a building of some form, very sciencey, technical looking building, which will go on a base. I don't currently have any picture frames that I'd use as a base, and I can queue up for Wilco downstairs, but it would feel odd queuing for something that's non-essential. So maybe this is going to be put off a bit further. So we've got this part of the base, and I've also got a whole bunch of other bits and pieces to go with it. Gundam figures, 144th scale pilots and mechanics and technicians and the like. 2 sprues with all the same stuff on it, so they can go in there. They'll go onto the diorama. And also N-gauge railway figures, which are roughly 148th, so they'll work well with it. They can go into a possible diorama. And 144th scale vehicles, which I'll be bashing into other things. So 2 of each. I'm sure I can make something useful out of all of those. And this arrived in the post today. It's not a Spinny World product, but I'll give a link to the eBay shop I got it from. It's a 144th scale linear tank, so non-Gundam ground-based stuff to support or shoot or whatever the scenario calls for. So 3D printed, quite nice looking. I'll have to, there we go, that goes on there like so. Doesn't quite fit. Needs a little bit of work to clean everything up, but that goes on there. Gun comes up off the support things, goes in there. Wheels, and this is a sensor that goes on the back. And there are instructions in here. I'll work out what that is when it comes time. So I design and have printed 3D design stuff, but I've never actually worked on anything this size. This seems to have been printed at home on somebody's resin printer. This is going to be interesting. So, yeah. Put that back in the bag. Oh, and there's another one of whatever that bit is. So that's cool. Look forward to working on that. There we go. Put that over here. Another thing that I'm going to build a diorama around, a moon base. This is it's a fake security camera that I bought, and it has a glorious dome to it, which I'll build up this underneath and build a little town cityscape thing, put some of my some of the Gundam figures in, and then put it on a nice moon rocky base and then you can pose the Gundam next to it. I also have some smaller domes, actually Christmas decorations that can make smaller domes around it. So, cool. And in non-robot news, this actually was my first project of the year, and I got as far as laying down the first, completing the interior and the chassis, and laying down the first layer of paint, which isn't perfect. I'm going to have a go at buffing and shining that, but the intention isn't for it to be black. The intention is to use some of this colour shift. That can go in there like that, and see what kind of funky effects I can get out of that. So there we are with the current projects. So I'm going to get to work on some of them and come back to you with more new and interesting developments later on. A quick Sunday evening update. The yellow is wonderfully bright and matte at the same time, and all of the stuff that I've painted yellow is out of the spray booth now, and I've started to detail it with a bit of Molotow chrome and some black, and I'll be doing panel lines later. And I've also started work on an oddball thing. This is going to be a base defense speeder trike gun thing for deploying in dioramas. Tank turret from the Ravel 144th scale weaponry kit. An excess to demand foot. Don't ask whether it's left or right, I can't remember. And some wheels from the spares bin, which are going to be massive in scale, but seem kind of appropriate. I'll be adding more bits and pieces of detail and then paint that up, and it'll be just a quirky little weapon to run around in the background of dioramas. And on the subject of dioramas, I have bought a picture frame which I shall be converting to the base for one of my 144th scale Gundam multi-use dioramas. Basically something to just pose them in rather than to set up a specific scene. So, another weekend draws to a close, and I've got a little bit further, and there will be another update next week, or sooner, who knows.